Okay, so we've gone through our...
Yeah, we went through all 4 regions.
And so...
I got through, picked my teams through the Final 4.
Now, we'll list them up in just a second,
Yeah.
but this is our Final 4.
As you can see, I wrote this.
Well, they can't see it on camera right now, so it's going to be just like what we did with the
I'll be able to see it
beginning.
when you zoom in.
When I zoom in, and we'll get into the teams. So, I guess we'll show our Final 4. And this, again, right now I want to announce, or have you announced, the March Madness bracket thing.
I haven't.
It's now at a close.
Yeah, it's closed now. So we got all the entrants we could. I think we ended up getting 6 or 7 people.
Was hoping to have more.
Yeah, I was hoping to have more. It was free money.
But the March Madness bracket thing is now to a close, and now we've gone through our brackets.
Yeah.
And now we're going to get to the Final 4.
Get into the Final 4. So what's going on today? I am so excited. It's one of my favorite times of the year for sports stuff.
Like and subscribe.
Me and Cody today, we're doing our March Madness bracket. Now, the way I did these last night...
Explain to them the way the camera is, too. The reason why they can't see it now.
Yeah, the reason you can't see it now is because of the white that it's written on.
Yeah.
So when we start to pick, we're going to zoom in on the team names, so you'll be able to see those better, and you'll just hear our voices, and you'll see probably Cody's hand. I think he's going to write them in.
Yep.
So with the blue. So what I did was I took each region. You got the West, the South, the Midwest, and the East. I don't know why I couldn't think of that.
And the West is first, right?
The West is going to be first. I made the East second because those are the 2 that are going to be playing each other in the Final 4. And then I have a 5th one made with just the Final 4 teams.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm going to have you run through each team because you're more...
I guess I can give a reason when I pick... Here I go messing with my pants.
Now, whenever we pick a team, do you want me to cross the team out? Or do you want me to just leave it and just write the name?
Just write the name.
Okay.
Of course, we still have the playing games. 2 played yesterday. Belmont won. They're written on, I can't remember which region they're in. Belmont won and Fairleigh Dickinson won, which, okay, right there. So Fairleigh, so they wouldn't even matter. But,
I'm going to walk in the camera now.
Okay, we'll just leave it like it is. So, and the other 2 playing games are today. So we're just going to run through each region. We're going to pick the games.
And we're doing the West first.
Yeah, we're doing the West first. We're going to pick all the way through. So this would be the Final 4 team coming out of the West.
Right.
So we're going to run through that. I guess when I pick a team, sometimes I'll give a reason. Sometimes I'll just say that's the team I think is going to win because I don't always have a surefire reason for picking somebody. Sometimes you just like certain teams. I'm not sure if Cody's going to let me pick most of it.
I'm going to have you pick the whole thing.
Okay, he's going to have me pick it.
Because I'm going to write.
He's going to write
the
it.
whole thing.
And I guess let's just get it going.
Let's get it going. You're going to see a cut because I'm going to zoom in because you can't see the bracket right now.
And then, when you zoom in, you'll just hear us talking, and then you'll see Cody writing the names.
Okay, now we're going to do the top half first.
Yeah, the way we had to zoom in, we're going to have to do the top half first, so we're going to go down to the Florida State-Vermont game.
Just so you can see it.
Just so you can see it well. So, of course, we got Gonzaga, number 1 seed. They were number 1 going into the conference finals.
They haven't been number 1 in a while, have they?
Gonzaga's...
Talking about last year.
No. Gonzaga's one of those teams, they struggle in the tournament sometimes. They're not going to lose this game.
So you're picking them?
Gonzaga's going to win this game.
And I'm going to write this.
I know a 16 seed won last year, but that's just not, I only ever see that happening. I never thought I'd see it happen. I never thought I'd see a 16 seed win. Okay, now the 8-9s are always, those can usually go either way. Syracuse, of course, Boeheim, great coach, always good in the tournament. Baylor, athletic, like they usually are, Big 12 team. I think I'm going to go with Syracuse here. I think their zone defense that they run is going to slow Baylor down, so I think I'm going to go with Syracuse in this game.
And I'll just leave it capital letters.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Cody definitely. I had somebody help me write the names in last night because my handwriting is, especially with like a Sharpie. Okay, 5-12s. If you do the 5-12s, the 4-13s, and the 6-11s, those are always upset alerts all the time.
Yes.
Marquette Murray State. I'm a big Murray State guy. They got John Morant. He's probably the number 3 best player in the country,
and you
behind Zion.
Yeah.
Behind Zion and R.J. Barrett from Duke. So
Now, before you make your pick,
Yeah.
weren't we talking about this last week when we talked about the bubble teams? We were talking about how you wanted to see them in the
Yeah, I
tournament.
wanted to see Murray State because I have kind of a thing when I pick brackets. I pick players a lot of the times more than I pick teams, depending on who the coach is, things like that. So I usually, like the year Kimba and UConn went to the finals and won it, I picked them to go, and I was one of the only ones, just because I picked players. So I'm going to go with Murray State here. Definitely going to go with Murray State. I think John Morant's going to, he's going to be good enough.
You going with Murray State?
Yeah, Murray State. He's going to be good enough to win at least one game. It's going to be up to his supporting cast to see how far they go. And you'll see how far they go after I get done picking. How far I think they'll go. Okay, Florida State, Vermont. I don't know a lot about Vermont. To me, this is kind of an easy pick. Florida State's super long, super athletic, tall. I'm going to go with Florida State here.
Okay. In the world? There's like a hair on this. Florida State?
Yeah. And you can just write it like it was if you want. Okay.
So now we're with Buffalo.
Okay, now, I don't know if I've talked to Cody about Buffalo.
Mm-mm.
They're one of my favorites in this tournament. First game of the season they were playing, I was sitting with my dad and I said, that's a tournament team. I really like them. I think Arizona State and St. John's are playing tonight. I'm definitely going with Buffalo here.
Okay.
They're one of my, the thing that sucks about the West here is Murray State and Buffalo are two of my favorite, kind of bracket buster type teams, and of course they're in the same region. So definitely going with Buffalo. Okay, now, you got Texas Tech, Big 12 team.
Yep.
Northern Kentucky, who I don't know a lot about. Texas Tech plays incredible defense. They're like the #1 defensive team. They're in the top 3 defensively in
Big
the
12
country.
has been beating up on each other.
I don't know a lot about Northern Kentucky. I think Texas Tech's going to win this. I think I'm going to pick them. Their defense is going to carry them to at least a win or two, so I'm going to go with Texas Tech here. Now, their offense can be suspect at times, but I think they'll be good enough to win this game. Okay, 7 and 10, Nevada, Florida. Nevada had that heartbreak at the end of their conference tournament. They do have 30 wins this year. They're, I think, like 30-4 record right around there. Florida is an odd team because the SEC is, a lot of people think, is the best team, or the SEC, a lot of people think is the best conference in college basketball. They were like 19 and 15, I think. I think I'm going to go with Nevada for the win here. I'm going to go with Nevada.
They're usually a consistent
They're
tournament
usually
team.
consistent, yeah. Yeah, they had that heartbreaking loss. I guess they had some, well, I don't remember if we got into that in the talks, but they had some issues. No, we didn't because they wouldn't have happened last week. I guess they had some issues with some fans at the end of the game.
Another fan thing?
Yeah, in Utah. They
Oh
played
yeah,
Utah
that's
State.
right. I remember that. We can get into that.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah,
We could
I forgot.
actually.
I forgot we needed to talk about that.
And 2 and 15s are usually clear cuts, similar to ones. Not always. There's been a few. Of course, you had Florida Gulf Coast a few years back, but I'm going to go with Michigan here to beat Montana. Not really. I just think they're a better team. Not really a lot of reasons.
Picking Michigan.
I'm going to pick Michigan. Yeah.
I'm gonna kneel down for this one. My eyes are getting going with Michigan.
Michigan.
Well, the marker cut out like that.
It looked funny when I looked at it when you were
I
writing
know,
it. It looked like
that's
you put
what-
a T or something.
I know.
I was like, what? We're getting into the second round in the West region here. This is an interesting matchup to me. Syracuse, of course, is always well coached. They play a solid zone defense. Gonzaga is a team they've had some high seedings before in the tournament. They've struggled sometimes. They've kind of been a letdown some years. I think they're going to have enough to win here. I think they have enough talent. I think I'm going to go with Gonzaga in this game.
Okay.
And like I said, guys, this is like my favorite thing ever to do all sports year. I love picking brackets. Okay, Murray State, who of course I said was a team I liked a lot. Florida State. Florida State is solid. As good as John Morant is, I think I'm going to go with Florida State here. I think their length and overall as a team is going to push them through. So yeah, I'm going to go with Florida State in this game. All right, so like I said before too, Buffalo's another team that I like a lot. Texas Tech, of course, as good as the Big 12 is, they do struggle offensively a lot. I'm going to go with Buffalo for the upset here. I think it'll be a slower paced game.
So Buffalo?
Buffalo. But I think Texas Tech struggles offensively. It's going to hurt them, and I think they're going to lose. Okay, Nevada, Michigan. I really don't know what to say about this game. I'm going to go with Michigan. I'm going to go with Michigan to win. They got a big center. I think he's a foreign guy. I can't remember his name, but
Antetokounmpo?
yes, Antetokounmpo. He's really good inside. I think he's just going to be too much for them, for too much for Nevada. Okay, now we're into the Sweet 16 portion of the West bracket. Okay, Gonzaga, Florida State. This is a tough game. Like I've been saying about Florida State, tall and long. Gonzaga has some good athletes. They can shoot. I'm going to go with Florida State for the upset on this game. I think this is where Gonzaga is going to falter. I personally think Michigan State should have been the other #1 seed probably over Gonzaga. It's hard to not give Gonzaga that #1 seed though, because they were #1 overall. And here comes Buffalo again. Buffalo and Michigan. I love Buffalo. I'm going to have to go with Michigan here. I think the guy inside, I wish I remembered his name, the big man inside, he's just a great post player. I think he'll carry him through that game. He'll be too much for Michigan, or for Buffalo, I'm sorry.
Yeah, now this one's going to be a little bit of a struggle because these are so far apart, but they should still be readable. It's just hopefully you don't need to
I can announce the teams and stuff too. So anyway, yeah. So of course I went with Florida State up top, Michigan down here. This is the Elite Eight, obviously, portion of the West bracket. You know, I don't know if a lot of people are going to pick this. I'm going to go with Florida State to make the Final Four.
Okay.
It's hard to coach against length and height. It's almost impossible unless you have other tall guys. It's almost impossible to do it. I think athletically they're better than Michigan. That's why I'm going to go with them. So this was our West bracket. I got Florida State coming out of the Final Four here. And I guess we're going to get into the East next. Will probably be a cut.
There'll be a cut because I'm going to tape the other board up, and then we'll get into that, and then we'll go through all of them just like we have been, and then we'll get to the Final Four at the very end.
Yep. Okay, so on to the East region.
This is where the big player is.
Yeah, Duke's here. They're the #1 overall. I guess I'll just get into the picks. Obviously, I'm going with Duke in the first round. This game's playing tonight, I think. I think it's the late game tonight. It's North Carolina Central, North Dakota State. But, I mean, when you have Zion, that dude's so dominant. You know, I didn't watch Zion a lot leading up to the tournament, and I finally started watching him in the conference tournament. That dude is a freaking monster, man.
And I like what he said the other day.
Yeah, about all the people that told me to stay out of it for the NBA, and no thanks or something like that. It was freaking great. All right, VCU. I'm going to want Shaka Smart coach VCU, which that's a great name.
That's the best name of all time.
Shaka Smart. Does he coach Texas still? I can't remember, but he coached them. They were really good then. They made some deep tournament runs. Central Florida. I'm going to go with VCU here. Classic tournament team. So I'm going to go with VCU to win this first round game.
Nothing's better than God Shammgod.
No, nothing will ever be better than God Shammgod.
Or Meta World Peace.
They did. God Shammgod has a move named after him.
The Shammgod.
Okay. Now, Mississippi State, Liberty. This is one I've been going back and forth a lot with. I like the 5-12 upsets a lot in brackets. I'm going to go with Liberty to upset Mississippi State in the first round. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a tough game. Liberty's, I think they said, is the slowest college basketball team in the country in terms of their their offense. They don't run the ball ever. They don't do fast breaks. So if they control the pace of the game, they'll have a chance to win this. I'm going to go with them. When you get to tournament time and you start playing those different teams,
Yep.
It can affect you. Virginia Tech, St. Louis. This is another one I think could be an upset, but I am going to go with Virginia Tech to win this game. I just think they're the better team. I like Virginia Tech. They're a good athletic team. Well coached. Okay. All right, now this next game, 6 and 11. This game hadn't gotten done yesterday when I did this, Belmont did end up winning. I'm a big fan of Belmont in the tournament. I like the way they shoot the ball. I think I'm going to go with Belmont for the upset here over Maryland. So it just, yeah, right in Belmont because they won. So I'm going to go with Belmont for the upset. I like teams that can shoot in the tournament. 3 is always better than a 2. Okay, this is one a lot of people are talking about, LSU Yale. LSU, I think, won the SEC regular season championship. And a lot of people think the SEC is the best in the country. Yale, these Ivy League teams are always dangerous coming into the tournament
Yes.
because of the way they play, the back doors, the shot, the shooting. I'm going to go with LSU. I think LSU is just the better team. If this was Harvard, maybe I'm surprised Yale won the Ivy League championship. But I think I'm going to go with LSU on that. Okay, now we got
We're gonna
7-10.
stay here.
Okay, Louisville, Minnesota. Interesting story in this one. Rick Pitino, who used to coach Louisville, got in trouble. Coaches Minnesota now. I'm going to go with Minnesota to win this game. Coaching is usually huge come tournament time, and Rick Pitino's won at least one national championship, maybe multiple, I can't remember, but I'm going to go with Minnesota in this game. And finally, tournament staple, Michigan State, Tom Izzo, amazing coach, Bradley. Michigan State's going to win that game.
He's always an unbelievable coach.
Always. Even when he's low seeded, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he's seeded. I gotta get a drink, my throat's dry. Alright, Duke VCU. Duke's gonna win. That's all I have to say. Watch me be wrong. This will be the second time a 16 seed beats a 1. No, I don't think that'll happen. Okay, Liberty, Virginia Tech. Liberty's I think they're gonna win that first game. I think Virginia Tech's gonna win this one. I just think they're the better team. I think their fast break offense, I think their athleticism will carry them through this game, Virginia Tech. Okay, Belmont, LSU. I'm gonna go with LSU. I picked a few upsets in the first round. I think the second round mostly gonna go as, you know, in terms of seeding, as it should. And then Michigan State, I'm going to go with them to win. So I do have the 1, 2, 3, 4 here. I usually take risks when I pick brackets. I just think that's just the way this region's going to turn out. Okay, Duke, Virginia Tech. I'm going to pick Duke again. I just feel like Duke's going to go deep in the tournament. I feel like they probably have the best players on their team, which doesn't mean I'm going to pick them to win. But I do feel like they have the best players. LSU, Michigan State. It's hard to pick against Tom Izzo. I'm going to go with Michigan State here. I'm not saying a lot about this region. There's just, I don't have a lot to say. I'm just picking the teams I think are going to win. Okay. So finally, we got the Elite Eight portion of this bracket.
Now, you want to announce who you're, just in case, because this is always the stage where the bracket's a little bit
That's right.
apart.
That's right. We got number 1 Duke up here, 2 Michigan State. I also had the 1, 2, 3, 4 in the Sweet 16, so I picked this pretty much how they seeded it. This is a tough game. Duke's, like I said before, I think Duke has the best players, at least the best player in the country. Michigan State, Tom Izzo is always a great coach, but Krzyzewski's a great coach too, and they have the better players. So I think I'm going to go with Duke. It's going to be a close game, but I think I'm going to go with Duke to beat Michigan State and go to the Final Four. Alright, so this was my East region. I picked Duke to come out of that in the Final Four. We're going to cut again. We're going to put the, what do we got next? We got the South region coming up now. So we're going to put the South region up and then we'll get into that. Okay, so we're on to the South region. Got Virginia, who of course was famous last year for being the first 1 seed to lose to a 16 seed, playing Gardner-Webb. Virginia's going to win this game. I know they lost last year, but their best player was also hurt last year in that game. UMBC just came out and just played unbelievable. I'm going to go with Virginia in the first game.
Virginia.
Virginia. I'm going to go with Virginie. That's not even close. That's how it's spelled. Of course, next we got the 8-9. We got Oklahoma. My homeland. Playing Ole Miss. Obviously, OU's not as good as they were when Buddy Hield was there. I'm going to pick them to win this game just because I'm a homer and I want to pick them and I want them to win. So I'm going to pick OU in the first game here. Matter of fact, just mark them all the way to the final. So OU there. 5-12, Wisconsin and apparently Oregon. That was misspelled last time. Somebody was tired when they were writing these in, so they put an A there for some reason. We changed it to an O. Wisconsin, Oregon. I always like Wisconsin in the tournament. They're coached well, they play hard, and they shoot well, so I'm going to go with Wisconsin to win this game. Whiskey. Okay, Kansas State 4, UC
That's the
Irvine.
worst Wisconsin rating I've ever seen.
They know what I picked. This is one I've been going back and forth on. Kansas State's a great team. It's one of those games where I just have a feeling, but I'm going to go against my gut feeling, and I'm going to pick Kansas State to pull it out. I guess Cody will just stay down there. Actually, in my main bracket that I picked UC Irvine. Okay, we had forgotten to adjust the camera. So I picked 11 St. Mary's to beat Villanova. I picked Old Dominion, number 14, to upset number 3 Purdue. And then this game was Cincinnati, Iowa, 7-10. I went with Cincinnati here. I should have reminded Cody to adjust the camera. I forgot. Okay, that was our fault, guys. Okay, so I'm going to Cincinnati there. You don't have to put Cincy if you want to.
Just keep it.
And finally, 2-15, Tennessee Colgate. Tennessee's a team I've been high on all season long. I'm going with Tennessee there.
But the toothpaste, man.
Yeah, I know. They're gonna brush their teeth and win this game. That was the worst joke of all time.
So Tennessee.
Tennessee. What are you doing? Let's freak you out. 2 N's, 2 S's, and 2 E's. Okay, so second round. Number 1 Virginia, number 9 OU. The obvious pick would be Oklahoma here because they're obviously the better team.
They're going the whole
I'm
tournament.
going to go ahead with the upset, and I'm going to pick number 1 Virginia to upset Oklahoma. I think Virginia's just going to be too much for him. As good as Christian James is, he's a good player. But I will say one thing about OU. They're not going to go away easy. They do have a lot of veterans on their team, guys that have been in the tournament 2 or 3 times.
Thought I messed up.
Okay.
Well, they went away easy when they played Villanova in the Final Four.
That would be, yeah, but Villanova just did, I don't know what they did in that
And
game.
he beat Villanova in the regular season.
5 Wisconsin, 4 Kansas State. This is a tough game. Might be the toughest game I've had to pick the entire time I've been doing this. Kansas State's more athletic. Wisconsin can shoot. They hustle. I don't even know who to pick here. Who do you think we should pick?
I want to go with Kansas State. I think Kansas State's a little bit better.
Go with Kansas State.
I think, in the Big 12, I think they've been beating up on each other a little bit.
They have.
I don't think you can really go wrong with the Big 12 team.
No. There's Big 12's really good. A lot of good teams. I'm surprised TCU didn't make the tournament. They had a better record than OU.
Now, I do think Kansas State has dropped off just a little bit in the way they've been playing. But
We actually have a local kid that went to the same high school as us that's going to Kansas State. So, this was my little buster type pick here. I had Old Dominion, St. Mary's. I'm going to go with St. Mary's to win this game. Usually you'll get those slower seeds that'll win the first game, and the second game they'll struggle.
you said St. Mary's?
Yeah, I just think St. Mary's is the better team. So I'm going to go with them. Okay, finally Cincinnati, Tennessee. Like I said, I'm a big Tennessee fan. I'm going to go with Tennessee to win that game there.
Who spelled this state? Somebody just I want to be different and put so many letters
So
in.
that, Mississippi, Virginia, Kansas State. I'm going to go with Virginia on that. I didn't have anything to say about that one. Here's one of my deep lower seeds. St. Mary's, Tennessee, but I'm a big Tennessee guy. They're going to win this game.
Who? Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yeah.
I don't have much to say about Virginia and Kansas State game because what I was really thinking is, Cody's pick of Kansas State was just terrible.
That's not what I was thinking.
Okay, now you want to go over them again just one more time?
Yeah. I got top half of the bracket. Got number 1 Virginia coming out. Bottom half, number 2 Tennessee. I don't usually pick as many 1 and 2s as I have been to go into the Elite Eight. That's just what I feel. Going into the Final Four from here, if you haven't noticed by how I've been picking by now what I'm going to pick, I'm going with Tennessee. I've liked Tennessee all season long. One of my favorite teams to watch. I think they're going to the Final Four. Now I'm going to scratch my leg. So, I got Tennessee coming out of the South, Final Four. We're going to put the last one, the Midwest, up, and I'm going to pick that one, and then we'll jump to the Final Four. So,
Final region, right?
final region, Midwest region. You got the Midwest.
Oh.
You got number 1 seed North Carolina, 16 Iona. Iona's one of my favorite teams. I just like, I don't know, there's something about it. It's just one of those teams I like. North Carolina's going to win. As much as I like them. You cannot pick with your heart when you pick these brackets. I used to work for the local newspaper, and they did a contest every year that I would like get the winner of. There was like 800 entries. I can't tell you how many people. Didn't matter what seed OU was, they're just gonna win it. They're not gonna win it because you put that they're gonna win it. That doesn't mean they're gonna win. All right, we got Utah State. Of course, they had the problems with Nevada. Washington. Was not impressed with Washington when I watched them in the conference championship game. I'm going to go with Utah State to win this game, number 8 seed.
Something wrong with the state of Utah.
We're going to get into that in our talk portion. Okay, of course, Auburn. This is 5-12, Auburn, New Mexico State. Auburn had that incredible run in the SEC tournament. I mean, I think they probably had to win that to make the tournament. They might have made it regardless, but they wouldn't have been a 5 seed. But this is also a game I could see being an upset. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to number 12, New Mexico State.
I can see that because if they struggle to get there and they struggle to get the 5 seed, they may not be an actual 5 seed.
I'm going to go with New Mexico State here for the upset, number 12. Okay, finally, on this top portion, Kansas Northeastern. I think Kansas will win this game. But what I will say is Kansas' 2 best players are gone.
Wow.
One of them left for personal reasons, the other one's injured. So I am going to go with Kansas to win the first round. They're not safe for that next round, though. Okay, so bottom half of the bracket here, we got Iowa State, Ohio State. This was a tough one for me. I think I'm going to go with Iowa State over Ohio State. I think that's going to be a really good game, a really close game. But I do think Iowa State's going to find a way to pull it out. You got that's 3 and 14. Yeah, Houston, who I've been impressed with this year. They played really good this year. Georgia State. I'm going to go with 3rd seeded Houston here. I think there's just going to be too much. Another one of those bubble teams we talked about, Wofford. Down here, 7 seed. They're playing Seton Hall, apparently, is what it said before that. It's Seton Hall. I'm going to go with Wofford. Wofford has never won a game in the tournament. I think this is going to be the first year they finally win a game. So I'm going to go with Wofford to win this game here.
How often do they make the tournament?
Every like, they're one of those, they make it some, they don't some. Yeah. And then Kentucky, they're just going to be way too much for Abilene Christian. I think Abilene Christian, our local college we have here, used to play them in sports. So they must have finally gone up D1. And they haven't been up there that long, so I'm going with Kentucky, definitely. We don't want it Abilene.
Too late now.
All right, second round, number 1 North Carolina, 8 Utah State. North Carolina's a really good team. They got Roy Williams coaching them still. I'm going to go with North Carolina to win this one. I think they're just too good. They're just the better team here. You know what? I said it. I said Kansas was in trouble here. I'm going to go with New Mexico State to upset Kansas. If Kansas had their Their two best players, I'd definitely be picking them to go deep in the tournament. But when you don't have your two best scores, it's just going to be hard. They struggled whenever those two were gone in the Big 12. This was the first year, and what did we say in our video? Like 14 years they didn't win the championship. Okay. 6 Iowa State, 3 Houston. Like I said, I've been impressed with Houston. I'm going to go with them to win this game. Beat Iowa State. I think some of the Big 12 teams got some tough matchups. 7 Wofford, 2 Kentucky. Wofford going to get their first win there. I think Kentucky's going to beat them here. Okay, there's one of my sleepers. New Mexico State I have going deep. North Carolina. I can't pick New Mexico State here. I'm going to have to pick North Carolina to go
So they're
to
going
the
to stay
Elite Eight.
asleep.
I think they're going to stay asleep here.
You're going North
I'm
Carolina.
going to go with North Carolina on this
Tar
one.
Heels.
Tar Heels.
I think that this might be the first bracket that James has ever picked like a consistent, like,
Yeah, it is. It's the first time I've ever picked a consistent. Yeah, I usually like upsets. Now this one, as tempting as it is to do this Kentucky North Carolina game here, I'm picking Houston for the
I was
upset.
thinking
I'm
that.
going to pick Houston for the upset here.
I like the way Houston's playing.
And I don't think that's a team a lot of people will think of picking. Reviewing through Midwest region, North Carolina coming out of the top part, 3 seed Houston coming down here. Now this game, I think I'm going to take a chance here. I'm going to pick number 3 Houston
That's what I was going to do. Yeah.
to go to the Final Four. It's a team that not a lot of people think of picking. They've been really good this year, really solid. You always have the one team somewhere in the Final Four. I'm taking Houston to go to the Final Four here. So that was my Midwest region. We're going to write out the teams on the Final Four. I'll put the Final Four piece up here. There's going to be a cut, and then we'll come back and I'll have the Final Four up.
Okay, so we've gone through our,
Yeah, we went through all 4 regions.
and so
I got through, picked my teams through the Final Four.
now we'll list them up in just a second.
Yeah.
But this is our Final Four.
As you can see, I wrote this.
Well, they can't see it on camera right now, so it's going to be just like what we did with the, in the beginning
you zoom in.
when I zoom in, and we'll get into the teams. So I guess we'll show our Final Four. And this, again, right now I want to announce, or have you announced, the March Madness bracket thing.
I haven't.
It's now at a close.
Yeah, it's closed now, so we got all the entrants we could. I think we ended up getting 6 or 7 people.
Was hoping to have more.
Yeah, I was hoping to have more. It was free money.
But like the March Madness bracket thing is now to a close, and now we've gone through our brackets.
Yeah.
And now we're going to get to the Final Four.
Into the Final Four. Okay, so first Final Four team coming out of the I can't remember which region were they. Were they in the West? What was the second bracket we did?
I'm pretty sure you're right.
I think it was the West. I think we did the East first.
East.
East. So they're in the East. Okay.
East and
Okay, so coming out of the East region, I got Duke. In my
Number one
Final Four. Number 1 Duke. They were the only 1 seed I picked.
Zion's hard to go against.
Zion's
now.
hard to play against now. Playing Duke, they're a 4 seed. I do know that.
Yeah, and they're coming out
The
of
West region, right?
yes.
Okay. Coming out of my West region bracket, 4 seeded, Florida State. Okay.
Okay.
I gotta announce that, so I'll switch your sides.
Now you got the Midwest and the South.
Yeah.
Which one goes?
Tennessee was on top.
Okay.
Okay, so on the other side, I got 2 seeded Tennessee coming out of their region.
Oh Lord.
What? 2 N's, 2 S's, 2 E's. That's the way I always remember it. Plus I have family that lives there.
And then E, and then SSE.
E and then SSE. Yeah. You are right, though. They do spell it funny. Okay, now, and finally, playing Tennessee, I got kind of the underdog, not a lot of people think about, 3-seeded Houston coming out of their region.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. So since you're over there, I guess I'll pick that side first. Well, you can rate it.
Sorry guys, just making sure the
Yeah.
camera's fine.
Okay. This is a tough pick for me.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of Tennessee all year long. I like Houston as kind of the underdog type team coming out. I think I'm going to go with Tennessee though.
Okay.
I think they're just going to be they're just going to play a little better than Houston. It's going to be a close game. I'm going to go with 2-seeded Tennessee there. They were number 1 for a long time this season. And me and Cody will switch sides again, that way he can write. Okay, finally, 1-seed Duke, 4-seed Florida State. As much as I like Florida State's length and size, gonna have to go with Duke here. I'm gonna go with 1-seeded Duke to make the championship game. And finally, the big one, Duke, Tennessee. I'm gonna go kind of out of the box here. I'm gonna pick Tennessee to win it all. I think Duke, like I said before, is the best team. I'm kind of picking this to be a little bit different than most people because a lot of people are going to pick Duke to win. So I'm going to pick Tennessee to win. I think they're going to do just enough in the championship game. They're going to let Zion get his, shut down the other 4 players, and I got 2-seeded Tennessee winning the national. They haven't won in a long time. It's time for somebody else to win. So I got 2-seeded Tennessee coming out and winning it all. Okay, so that was our March Madness bracket
Yep.
picks. Went through each region, got the final 4 down. I ended up picking 2-seed Tennessee to win. I don't think that's a team a lot of people are going to pick. A lot of people are going to pick Duke. That's kind of why I went against Duke in the championship, just to be a little different.
No, and remember guys, now the March Madness bracket thing, the contest that we have is now closed.
Yeah, it's closed now.
So
Last night.
if you've entered, you're now entered. If you didn't, sorry.
Yep.
But those that have entered, you have a chance to win a $25 gift card. Somebody's got to win it instead of us.
Yeah.
But we'll put our stuff up on ESPN. And I guess that's it with Cody and James Common Sense Sports. Make sure to like, subscribe,
Hit that notification bell.
leave us a comment, and we'll see you in the next video.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.